All right. Hey guys. Welcome to our Tuesday night team Zoom. I am so excited to be here with you tonight. We have a very special guest. I am so excited to introduce you to Denise Walsh. She is one of only 2 black diamonds in our entire company. And you guys, a black diamond, in order to achieve the rank of what we call a black diamond, you actually have to earn 6 figures monthly for 6 consecutive, yes, did I say that right? You have to earn $100,000 minimum per month for 6 consecutive months to earn the title of a black diamond. And so Denise is one person who has done that, one of only 2 people who has ever done that in our company. And she's just somebody who I have massive amounts of respect for. If you guys join me for my morning journaling Zooms each day, we're going over her journal. So she has actually expanded her business and her entrepreneurship from It Works Global to become just this speaker. And you guys are going to, we can record. Okay, good. Thank you so much. You guys are going to get the opportunity to hear from her tonight. She's actually on her way to California next week, and she is going to be presenting at a CEO Women in Business conference, and she's going to practice her speech on us tonight, and this is going to be amazing. So grab your pen and your piece of paper, and I'm going to hand it over to Denise. So let me just find her really quick. Oh. Hey.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to like see my face, but I think it's important you see the PowerPoint. So I'm in my movie room. I've got the little stage here, and this is my movie screen. So you might see me as a shadow, but that's okay. And I leave tomorrow. So yeah, I know. I'm gonna do the whole thing and pretend like you guys are my audience. And I'm scared, but we're gonna do it. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is the song they're playing when I come in. So high, I touch the clouds. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I stretch my hands out to the sky. With tears when monsters through the night. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Ready? Okay, that's good. Yeah, everyone's clapping. Woo! Oh my goodness. Okay, I want to make sure you guys can see me a little bit, so I'm going to move this. Okay, here we go. All right. There we go. That might be better. Let's see. Well, in order for you to see me, I have to be in this light, so that's okay. Okay, so big welcome, you guys. I am so excited to be here. My name is Denise Walsh, and I come from the beautiful state of Michigan, where we are proud of ourselves like 3 months out of the year. In fact, it did snow last week on Halloween. So I am very glad to be here with you in beautiful, sunny California. For those of you who don't know me, this is my beautiful family. My husband and I have been married about 15 years, and I have 2 little boys, Owen and Eli, who are now ages 8 and 5. Now, the surprising thing about this picture is that both of my boys have red hair. I know. I would have expected my children to look like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell too. In fact, we had to do IVF with our boys, and when we found out like Owen was born and they said he had red hair, I immediately thought, did you switch us with the other people in the waiting room that day? But then I found out that that is actually actually happen to people, so I decided that was no longer a funny joke. Now we just honor their red hair. And in fact, today is Celebrate Your Red Hair Day. So go Owen and Eli. Apparently they're also going extinct. Did you know that? Red hair and blue eyes is going extinct, and I've got 2 of them. So, you know, that's cool. Well, long before I had my kids, when I was about 20 years old, I had my first spark. And I'm going to share it with you today, but while I'm sharing my story, I want you to think about a time when you felt sparked too. So when I was about 20 years old, my husband and I I wasn't married yet, but I packed up my car with 3 months of clothes, books, and probably some CDs. This was the year 2000, you know. And I drove the 10-hour trek from Detroit, Michigan to Port Jervis, New York. I was super excited to be a camp counselor for the summer at Tri-State Christian Camp, where our sole mission was to love on inner city foster kids. Camp would bus the kids 2 hours from the city to the country for a week of camp. And because most of them lived with foster families who didn't really want them home all summer, we saw these kids all summer long. Now imagine, blonde-haired, blue-eyed youth group girl, full of hope and love, hanging out with kids ages 7 through 14 who had pretty much given up on their life. And imagine do-rags, which is like a bandana, and crip walks, which is a gang walk, I learned, and tight braids with beads. I wanted to touch their hair as much as they wanted to touch mine. Now, goodness, these kids had already experienced way more in their short few years than I hopefully ever will in my lifetime. And they came to camp feeling forgotten. Because most had experienced trauma and their family was volatile, and often their community was too, these kids trusted no one. Camp was a break from all of that. They got to swim in the lake. We got to see the stars, run in the grass, freak out, and conquer the ropes course. They're so cute. And most importantly, be surrounded by safe people who cared. Now, one of the girls, Davine, in the orange there, I don't know if you guys can totally see her, but she's there. I don't know what she did to get in trouble this week at camp. I don't know if she was talking back to a counselor or simply not participating. But I was given the glorious duty of walking around camp with her to pick up trash. Yeah, that was her punishment. So that's what we did. We walked around camp, not saying a word, just picking up trash. And at the end of the 30 minutes, I started in on my I know what you did wrong, I hope you know what you did wrong speech, and I hope you learned your lesson. And to my surprise, she still didn't say a word. She just stared at the ground and said nothing. So finally I said, all right, girl, I expect you to behave because we want to have fun with you. And I know you want to have fun too. You're better than this. She looked at me, rolled her eyes, and said, can I go now? If you have a teenager, you can probably relate. I sighed and I said, yes, go have fun. What surprised me the most about this experience is that for the rest of the week, this little girl clung to me. She sat next to me at lunch and dinner. She sat next to me at chapel. She held my hand as we walked from activity to activity. And in my 20-year-old brain, I realized that nobody had told this beautiful little girl that she was worth it before. No one had told her that they believed in her, and when she heard that I had high expectations of her, she rose up to meet them. No yelling, no berating, simply believing. And let me tell you, I was sparked. I knew that it was my sole mission to tell people how awesome they are, to see them 3 steps ahead of where they see themselves so that they can begin to believe it too. Think about your own story. What has set your soul on fire? And in your notebook, I want you to write it down. What were you doing? Who were you with? When you felt like time went by so fast and you were in the zone. It's like when you know, like on a scale of 1 to 10, you would be a 10. Yeah. Write down a time when you felt sparked. A soul that has been sparked. It's our job to fan the flame. And it was this situation at camp that led me to Wheaton College right outside Chicago, where I got my master's in clinical psychology. I just knew there are other people out there who needed my belief. Do we have any other helping professions out there? Daycare workers, nurses, teachers. Yes. My husband and I graduated from Wheaton. I got my first job at a local community mental health, and we went out to dinner to celebrate because I was off to change the world. Yeah, well, it did not take long in the helping professions for me to realize it was more about policy, paperwork, and procedure than it truly was about people. And I went through what they call a quarter life crisis. You know, I got out of school with all of these big dreams, all of these big hopes. I was so excited to impact people, yet I was working with people who didn't really want help in a situation that couldn't really help them. I remember living for the weekends, you know, being a zombie throughout the week, like not really engaged in what I was doing, just going through the motions. I remember feeling overworked and overstressed and underpaid, and I had no idea what to do about it. I started thinking things like, I guess this is just adulting. Maybe this is my new normal. Have you ever experienced that? It was here that I had a choice to make. Do I stay in a place that I like to call here, or do I take a step and search again for my spark? Here is a place that I call not really where I want to be, yet comfortable. Here is where I was when I was working my community mental health job. You know, what's interesting is when we are in a place like here, we don't really love it, but because we don't know any different, this becomes our normal. So let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate life today? Your life today. Now, 10 is living my dream life, and 1 is not so much. On a scale of 1 to 10, really, do it, might as well, right? Scale of 1 to 10, rate all areas of life. Don't think too much. Don't analyze it, just your gut instinct. How would you rate? And then I'd love for you to figure out your average really quickly if you can. How many of you would say your average is a 10? Awesome. I want to hang out with you. What about a 9, 8, 7? Post in the comments your average. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what's interesting is when I do this exercise all over the world, working with people, what I find is that most people would rate themselves an average of a 4. A 4, really? And what happens is when you're a 4 is that your friends are 4s, your work people are 4s, your family are 4s, the conversation around the lunch table is a 4, and a 10 feels super far away, very scary, and only for those lucky people. You really don't even believe that's possible, so why even try? We might as well stay here, even if it's a 4. And if we take a step outside our comfort zone and we try to grow, we immediately think things of like, am I good enough? Can I do this? Is my dream, is my spark worth it? And often our 4 friends pull us back and they're like, where are you going? Why are us, huh? Now, imagine your life being a 4. You know, you may complain about it, but we stay, right? Because it's comfortable. So imagine being a 4, waking up in the morning with a pit in your stomach, feeling anxious, really not enjoying what you do during the day or even who you're spending time with, feeling suffocated with debt, overwhelmed with stress, but really having no way to get out. Imagine yourself in 5 years living a 4 life. I want to hear from you. What would that sound like? Ugh. Yes, this is audience participation. So you at home. Ugh. I know. I'm totally stuck. Ugh. Imagine, you know, on your last breath, God says to you, you know, I had a big plans for you. But instead, you chose to stay here. How would that feel? Oh my gosh, I know. We do not want to stay here anymore. So let's talk about the opposite of here, which is there. There is your personal vision of your future that produces passion. This is when you see yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are today, and you're super stinking excited about it. It's when you wake up in the morning and you feel impassioned and empowered. You're doing work that you're good at, that brings you joy, even if it's not always easy, right? You want to be doing it, and you're surrounded by people who make you better. Now imagine living a 10 life in the next few years. You know, this is your dream life. This is your next goal when you get to like conquer it and say, I did it. Imagine in 5 years waking up with a skip in your step. You're doing work that fulfills you. You're surrounded with people you care about, and you freaking love your life. This is where I say you love where you are and you know where you're going. Tell me what that would feel like. Woo! Yes! I know! So great! Yes! Everyone at home. Woo! Yes. Okay. So tell me your favorite. What is the hardest part about all of this, right? Is it here? Stepping outside your comfort zone? Is it there keeping your personal vision strong? Or is it the journey? Yeah, the journey. The journey is where life happens. The journey is when our spark can start to dim and our dreams can start to die. And we all have that choice to make. Do we continue to say yes to our spark, or do we shrink back and stay here? Things like fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what if it falls apart, fear of the unknown, emotional stuff, right? Guilt, resentment, bitterness, imposter syndrome. Yeah, this stops us before we even get started when we feel like we're never good enough to actually take action. The comparison game. Yes. Goodness, my looking left, looking right, not at really growing yourself. Jealousy. The how. I think my next book might be called Steps in the Dark. The how slows us down. Like when we don't know the next step, we don't really see the clear path. Yeah. Life trauma, absolutely. That can derail us for years. Divorce, relationship struggles, drama, addiction. You guys, life happens to all of us. No one is immune to this. But yet we all have that choice to make. Today I'm going to teach you the Dream Life Pathway. And this is the skill set I've learned that helps me to keep my spark alive, my dreams strong, in the midst of the struggle. The Dream Life Pathway is your head, heart, feet approach to your dreams. Let me share with you a quick story about what this means. About 13 years ago, my husband and I started our home business, and let me tell you, I had no idea what I was getting into. I'm not a business owner. I'm not a marketer. I just really like people. And so I could totally tell you stories of failing forward or faking it till you make it, or, you know, learning new marketing strategies or sales techniques, the time management and grit, goodness, it takes to get to the top of a company and stay there for over 10 years. But the story I'm going to share with you today is one that I learned when I was working towards the tippity top of our company's comp plan called Black Diamond. It took my husband and I 3 years to hit this goal. And what I found is that when my head, heart, and feet are in alignment, momentum is created and magic seems to happen. So let's start with head. Head. Yes, this is audience participation too. So head. Thank you. Head. Head. Thoughts, mindset, clarity. Lesson 1. You become what you think about. Dr. Caroline Leaf is a cognitive neuroscientist, which basically means that she has studied brains for the past 30 years. And she's identified 2 main points. First of all, our brains are lazy. And when a decision needs to be made, our brains choose the quickest and most easy default neural connection, even if it's not the best choice. And number 2, we operate via thought habits. So over years, we create thousands of these neural connections that then become our thought habits and impact the way we view our world and the way we view ourselves. It's just easier for our brain. So what does this mean for us? Out of the 70,000 thoughts we think a day, 90% of them are habitual. It's easier for our brain. We're operating on autopilot. So if you have positive thoughts, positive outlook, positive mindset, positive autopilot, then that can be great. But if you have negative thoughts, negative habits, a negative autopilot, then in order to see any change, we've got to change the autopilot first. So for me, let's get back to my story. I said I wanted this goal, but what I learned is that my thought habits were habitually taking me to a place of self-sabotaging failure. You know, I was doing the work. People would never know I was thinking this way because I was doing the effort, but my thoughts consistently said things like, who are you to make that kind of money? How embarrassing would it be if you tried so hard and you didn't make it? Or how funny would it be if you missed this goal by just a few $1,000s? I don't know if I'm good enough, smart enough, leader enough, whatever enough to actually make this happen. And so guess what? It didn't. So what about you? What story are you telling yourself? You know, maybe you have a weight loss goal, yet the story you're telling yourself is that you're fat and that it never works for you anyway. Or maybe you set out a goal and you immediately have a self-sabotaging failure. I want you to write down right now the habitual thoughts that you have about your current goal. Are they habitually positive or are they habitually negative? Yeah. So it was at this time, my CEO called and said, Denise, you didn't make it. You see, we had 4 months under our belt and we missed it month 5. And I said to her, Pam, I've been thinking about not making it all month long. She said, Denise, you did it to yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you about how I retrained my brain. But for now, I really want you to assess your own thought habits. Are they positive or are they negative? Because lesson 1, you become what you think about. So the action here is to actually think about what you want and who you want to become. So after this experience, I can tell you, I learned my lesson. All right. I learned that I had to retrain my brain and I had to create new thought habits, but I was still pretty mad. So and the whole second year we were working towards this goal, I again was saying the right things, but my emotions were saying, yeah, right. This brings me to the second phase of the dream life pathway. Say heart, heart. Say head, head. Say heart, heart. Good. Thank you. Audience participation. Belief is queen. So you guys, this whole second year, I was doing the effort. I was generating leads. I was following up with leads. I was training my team with the emotion of anger, bitterness, frustration, and self-doubt. And let me tell you, you cannot create when your emotions are 3 steps behind. You see, our emotions are like a broadcasting tower. So if I'm broadcasting lower emotions, anger, frustration, bitterness, self-doubt, then that's going to be what I get back. So guess what? It didn't work. And when I knew we weren't hitting this goal, I immediately thought, see, I told you. Don't tell me I'm the only one who's ever thought that. So what about you? What are the habitual thoughts that you have? And then what are the beliefs associated with them? You can say one thing and believe another, and guess what? That matters. So this is where we have a choice to make. You know, I realized that I had to retrain my brain and I had to build my belief if anything was going to change. So the third year we worked towards this goal, I realized that if I wanted something different, I had to do something different. Something was going to have to give. I had to have the courage to continue to say yes to my spark, retrain my brain, and build my belief to actually make a physical change in my reality. And so let me tell you what we did. We planned a party at a place called the Tree House at my local zoo. And I had binoculars for everybody present that said, where there is no vision, the people perish. Isn't that good? I was so proud of myself. And we had everybody come dressed as though it was the year 2025 and they had accomplished things off their dream board. So to help my team prepare for this party, I took them through several exercises, and I learned these from Jack Canfield and the Success Principles. And I had them ask themselves, what do you want? 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 Over and over again until we had pages of desires, pages of dreams. I asked them to write down 30 things they wanted to be, do, and have, so they could really get crystal clear on what it is they wanted and who they wanted to be, what they wanted their life to be about. We even created a dream day in specific hour-by-hour detail. And you guys, these are exercises that you can do and you probably want to do every 3 to 6 months to reevaluate, to realign, and ensure that you're continuing to walk in the direction you desire. Now, I can tell you my team was really mad at me for making them do this. They kept telling me things like, Denise, I don't even know what I want for dinner. How am I going to know what I want in 5 to 10 years? But let me tell you what these exercises did for us that year. So I didn't just say I wanted a goal anymore. I got crystal clear about what I actually wanted. I retrained my brain and my heart to think and feel about those things instead. I listened to The Strangest Secret from Earl Nightingale every day for over 30 days. And anytime a fear-based thought would pop up into my mind, I would quickly think about what I wanted instead. And because of that, I got super excited about it. I was excited about taking my boys to Ireland to the Red Hair Festival in the year 2021 when Owen turns 10. I'm excited about writing a book that impacts more people than just my team. I'm excited about hitting the top of my company and accomplishing our business goals. I didn't just dream big, I got excited about dreaming big. And then thirdly, I started picturing myself there. So I'm like picturing myself in Ireland, hiking with my boys, and in my mind, they complain 0 times and they love every minute of it. I picture ourselves in first class, going, we were using points to fly. It's awesome. I picture myself on America's Ninja Warrior, on Oprah's Favorite Things. I picture myself hitting the top of our company, and without even realizing it, I was triggering my reticular activating system. So your reticular activating system is when it's basically your brain's filter. So it's the information gatekeeper. And everybody has it in the base of your brain. And what happens is there's so much stimuli in the world that your brain has to decipher what to show you, what it deems important. And how does it do that? It decides what's important to you based on what you're thinking about. So have you ever test drove a car? Try this out. It's hilarious. Go test drive a yellow Jeep. I guarantee it, for the next 3 days, you are going to see more yellow Jeeps. Or how many of you are pregnant or have been pregnant, right? Now, all of a sudden, you see pregnant people everywhere. My guess is the yellow Jeeps and the pregnant people were always there, but your reticular activating system has now decided to show it to you, because it now deems it important, because now you are thinking about it. So during this year, I'm thinking about what I want. I'm retraining my brain to focus on what I want. I believe it, I expect it, I embody it, and the how starts to show up for me. People are joining my team left and right. I'm working with excited people who want to be here, and momentum is created. And my goals went from my head to my heart. I began to expect it and to embody it. And when that happens, my friends, game over. You have already won. Say head, head. Say heart, heart. Awesome. Okay, so like it or not, our thoughts dictate how we feel. Okay, and I'm going to give you one more example on how this works. So even out in the audience, I want you to put both feet on the floor, sit comfortably, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. I want you to imagine now that you're standing in your kitchen. Imagine you're standing at the doorway of your kitchen and you glance around it. You're noting the walls, the cabinets, the countertops, the floor. Imagine the appliances that are in the kitchen, the refrigerator, the stove, the dishwasher. Look at the countertops and notice anything that's placed there. Over the kitchen sink, there may be a window. Imagine the window's open and a soft, warm breeze is blowing in. There are pleasant smells in this kitchen. Cooking or baking smells linger in the air. It's a warm and inviting place. Now bring your gaze to the counter and notice that there is a beautiful wooden cutting board there. On top of the board sits a bright yellow lemon. You notice its vibrant yellow color, its size. You notice how it feels to your touch. The skin is smooth and slightly bumpy. Next to the cutting board, you see a sharp kitchen knife. Return the lemon to the cutting board and carefully pick up the knife in your dominant hand. Holding the lemon steady, with your other hand, cut the lemon in half. And as you do this, you're feeling the lemon slice through the fruit. The fruit falls open, revealing beautiful jewel-like pulps in neat rows. You see fresh white pulp and perhaps some seeds inside. Drops of juice have spilled onto the cutting board. Now take 1/2 of the lemon and cut it again, making a quarter-size slice. Put the knife down and bring the lemon quarter up to your nose. You are aware of the sharp, fresh citrus scent filling your nose. Touch the lemon to your lips. Notice the sensations. Now open your mouth and bite into the lemon. You can open your eyes. How many of you tasted, like your body responded to biting into this lemon? Yes, our body responds to the thoughts and pictures in our mind. Say head, say heart. Yes, so cool. I know, I love it. Let's move to, belief is queen, emotionally connect with what it is you want. So let's move on to the third phase of the dream life pathway, the feet. Say feet. Yes, say head, say heart, say feet. Action is king. So during this year, I was retraining my brain and focusing on what I wanted and emotionally connecting with what I wanted. I was also taking massive action, right? I was doing the work. I was generating leads and following up with leads and traveling and training and working with my team with this new energy of I am Black Diamond. I'm a finisher. I'm a finisher. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I believed it and I expected it and I embodied it. You see, the how shows up when we move our feet. We want to clarify the what, feel the why, and run towards the how. The reality is we don't get rewarded for what we know. We get rewarded for what we do. But if we don't take action quickly, oftentimes we won't. Mel Robbins coined the 5-second rule, which states, when you have an instinct to change or to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. We all have this window, right? Where we have this thought, oh, I should do this. I should take this action. I should do this effort. I should take a step out of my comfort zone. And then when our brain kills it, and that window is 5 seconds. And we all have it. So when we count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, what we're doing is we're distracting our brain from the self-sabotaging thought habits, right? The fear-based, self-doubt, negative thoughts that can often derail us before we even get started. If you don't take action immediately, then oftentimes you're not going to change. So what do? You count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And when you get to 1, you push yourself to move. This is how you push yourself to do the hard things. This is how you push yourself to do the things you don't really want to do, or maybe the things you're procrastinating on or avoiding. Taking action quickly will retrain your brain to create new neural pathways connected with authentic pride. These are new neural pathways that are taking you in the direction that you desire. And authentic pride is the pride that's fueled by personal confidence and success. You begin to trust yourself, right? So your alarm goes off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed, head to the gym. It's time to follow up with prospects. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send a message or get on the phone. You see a delicious brownie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take carb control. Just kidding. You choose water. That's the correct answer. And so at the end of the day, you guys, we're not rewarded by what we know. We're rewarded by what we do. Action is king. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. After 3 years of intentional efforts, we were actually at this party when my CEO texted us to say, we did it. We had those 6 months income goal, and we had finally hit our goal. 3 years of aligning my head, heart, and feet. 3 years of digging deep to retrain my brain and build my belief and take massive inspired action. And we did it! Woohoo! I forgot my children are sleeping. Woohoo! I want to hear your finish line feeling. You know, when you finally get there and you've worked through the struggles and you've dug deep and you did it. Woo! Yes, it feels so good. Now, with only 2 black diamonds in the entire company, we were celebrated big time. We got a private jet taken to Florida. I got a $5,000 shopping spree that I did not share with my husband. We went on to a private island. We got helicopters. Weekend. And the entire time, I felt guilty. Those stinking fear thoughts came back again. And I started thinking things like, why am I experiencing this when there's so many other people out there working hard too? Or are people throwing tomatoes at us through Facebook because they don't really think that we deserve it and they're mad at us or jealous of us that we're here? But because I had learned the Dream Life pathway, I knew what to do. The next morning, I got up and took action. I went for a run. I listened to the strangest secret. I began to ask myself questions like, what do you want to feel right now? What do you want to be thinking? How do you want to be experiencing this celebration? And I was retraining my brain and building my belief while I was on this run. And when I got back to our bed and breakfast, I was stretching, and I got a text from text said, Denise, if I make no more money with this company, I am forever changed. I'm closer to God. I'm closer with my family. We've paid off debt, and I feel like I found myself again. Thank you. And what's so powerful about that text is that my friend works 3rd shift, and she woke up out of a dead sleep to text me that, right when I needed it. It was in that moment that I realized that by me saying yes to my spark, by digging deep to align my head, heart, and feet, to create momentum in my own business and to hit my own personal goals, wasn't just about me. When I said yes to my spark, the effect rippled throughout the entire organization, and they were sparked too. What dream do you have in your heart? Maybe one that you're saying yeah right to. The Dream Life pathway can help take your dream and turn it into reality. Say head, say heart, say feet. You have a dream that's been percolating, and maybe it scares the crap out of you, but it's there for a reason. Your spark deserves to be tended to and fanned into a flame. Just this past summer, I got a text from Davine. She went to camp, was reminded of me, thought of me, I guess, and Googled me and found my number, and we reconnected. She told me that camp truly was her safe place where she could run and play and laugh in a way she never could in the city. And now at 28 years old, she is working with in a retirement home with the elderly population, and she has her own dream of creating a scholarship fund to allow other inner city kids to go to camp too. My friends, your spark is unique to you, and it impacts everyone you encounter. It's going to keep showing up for you until you take full action on it. And I hope that by you seeing me have courage to say yes to my spark, you have the courage to say yes to yours. Thank you. Yay. Okay. This is kind of weird because there's nobody in this room. But now we have a Q&A. So at the end of this presentation, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A where I can answer questions and stuff. So yeah, if you have any problems or like the questions, I'm guessing will submit. We've got materials and tools to help clarify and give you support along the way. The end.
Wow, Denise, thank you so much for jumping on here and sharing that. I have lots and lots of notes here, and I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Hey, Chad.
Those girls in California are going to be rocked.
Well, I know that when I'm actually saying it, I'll be like super nervous and there'll be a lot of emotion behind it. So I appreciate the place to practice and, so thank you for letting me do this.
I love the story. I love how you brought it full circle. I love how Devine,
yeah,
how she's come back around, and and just that you've recognized how that one little just sowing, that one little spark, just it can ignite one person who can ignite another person who can ignite the world. It's funny. One quick story I'll share, and then I know maybe we have a few questions here. I was talking to a guy today. There's this guy known as the Naked Preacher, and I was at church at this place called the Restoration House, and this guest speaker was there, and Derwin something. I can't think of his last name, but I think he played for the Colts. And so he was on the football team, and you have a lot of guys, different pathways to get to professional football. And a lot of these guys, it was all they breathed, ate, slept football, right? Their whole entire childhood, and they found themselves on a professional team. And there was the biggest guy on the team. Every time he got out of the shower, he'd have his towel around him, and he would just look, and he would just be looking, who am I going to talk to today on the team? And he'd walk right up to him in this towel, and he'd say, "You know Jesus?" That was all he would say. "You know Jesus?" And he would do that every single game. And out of that team, out of that locker room, out of that one guy asking that one question to one person each day, it ended up with like 4 or 5 guys that became pastors in full-time ministry that he led to the Lord. And so I just think of that, and I think about how you were able to influence this girl, this particular girl, and then everyone on your team, and everything that you've done, and people here today, that this might be the day that just something clicks for them. The head, the heart, the feet, and they're able to align it all together. So Derwin Gray, Eric Bryan has it. So thank you so much for being on here. I'm looking through the things here. If anybody has any questions for Denise, you have like maybe 10 more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can ask Denise questions for 5 hours. So if no one else is going to ask questions, I'll. I love your passion. You, Denise, are a key piece to my puzzle of success, and one day you'll learn why. Thank you so much. So good.
So people ask me a lot, how do I build the belief, right? And because, I see a lot of people saying, I think I can, but then my fear takes over. And so that's when we build the belief. And again, the fear never goes away, you guys. I think that's something that's we sometimes will say, oh, I'm scared. This means I shouldn't do it, because if it were easy, if God wanted me to do it, I wouldn't feel scared. No, that's not even how the world works. And we can often think that. We can use it as a reason why we don't do it. But what I know is that fear never goes away. What we do is we just give less attention to it. So when I was experiencing fear, I would then shift my thoughts and my emotions to what I wanted instead. But I can tell you one of the biggest ways I built my belief is through action. Because the more people you follow up with, the more people you talk to, the more people you rap, the more people, your confidence will grow. So, I mean, that's why I say belief is queen and action is king. Like, they go hand in hand. You will get better results when you're doing action that's inspired. When you do action, when you know that you know that you know that you know that you know, right? But I did action scared for a lot of years. And that's okay too, because a lot of times that's how you build the belief. So don't feel like you need to feel awesome and like you're an expert before you take that action, because it takes 10,000 hours, right? From Malcolm Gladwell's Outlier book to become an expert. And so your job is to become a professional practicer and do things so often that you then figure out your rhyme and reason and what works for you, and then you're the expert and you really believe it. So
Denise, did you see Eric's question here? He says, what do you want people to remember you for?
you know, I really do feel like my life purpose is to help like unlock or like light that spark, right? Where they go, I can do it, you know? And so I want people to remember me. That's a good question. As being someone who believed that in them before they saw it in themselves. Like, I want them to know that I think they're a 10. I think you're all a 10. And I want that kind of to radiate from me and elevate those who are around me. What products do you use? All of them. I'll say I just got a spray tan today. I have no makeup on, so thank you for your compliment. I get in my own head. You know, so does everyone. I think the biggest thing when you feel like you have that stinking thinking, there's a lot of layers, right? So we can get to the root of the stinking thinking, and we can identify the core belief, and there that can be a whole thing. But you also, what I did is I just wrote about, thought about, and talked about what I wanted till that's what I believed. And I, you know, I think there's several, I mean, it's layers, right? It's not just one thing. But I know that for me, when I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, and I believed it so wholeheartedly that I didn't care if someone didn't, because I knew. And that's how it got to my heart, you know? And so spend time on those exercises and do it consistently, and then take that action, and you'll find the how will show up for you. Like, random people will message you. This speaking gig I got was a random post I saw, you know, and I don't know how to get speaking gigs. I'm going to go ask all the other speakers how to get speaking gigs while I'm there. It was this random post I saw. I have a friend who's speaking. I said, how do you do that? I want to do that. and she hooked me up. So it was like the how showed up for me when I was ready for it. Anyway.
Time to go. So good.
Yes, Tracy, you all should listen to the Dreamcast. Just kidding. There's a lot of other podcasts too, but my podcast is the Dreamcast. Have I ever been intimidated by belly to belly? I used to take Confianza before expos all the time. Now, remember, when I started this business, I was 26 years old. So I thought, who's going to listen to me? I'm 26. I don't know what I'm talking about, you know? So I had my own fears, and it's just silly. So yeah, you take Confianza. I often say I work my business based on what I want, not based on how I feel. And so even though I want to deepen and grow my belief, I took action based on what I wanted, not based on how I felt. When my belief caught up with what I wanted, that's when magic happened. What are some mistakes you wish you could have avoided? Well, I can tell you, I don't really think we made mistake. Not putting Marwa under 2.0. That was a mistake. Put her on my top line. But let's see. One skill set I wished I would have developed that I didn't develop because Brandon did, and I didn't think I had to, was copywriting. Now that I'm writing my own stuff for the Dreamcast, for YouTube, because I can't ask Brandon to do everything if it's my dream. I have to take ownership of it. I wish that I had learned more copywriting and marketing skills. So I know more than I give myself credit for, but those are things that I took for granted, and Brandon always did. And like, even, I mean, in this day and age, it's persuasive writing, right? Even our social media needs to be copywriting, taking people on a journey, giving them an action, drawing them in to say, yes, that's me. And those are skills I'm really working to learn now.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks again, Denise, for just coming on here and sharing this with everybody. We're all just blessed to have you on here and to know you and just to follow in the footsteps of what you've done, and for you to kind of pull it out all out of your mind and articulate it so well is so helpful. And I know I'll be sharing as much of this as I can too, and just continuing to shout from the rooftops what you got going on. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you have any constructive feedback, please let me know. I'm here to grow. And the presentation is at 2 p.m., 2:45, I think, Pacific time on Thursday. So if you think of me around that time, that's like 5-ish, 5:45. And I go right before Patty Aubrey. Patty Aubrey worked with Jack Canfield in Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so in my vision, she's sitting in the audience, and it's going to be awesome. That's
so good.
And she's going to be like, oh my gosh, do you want to come speak on our stage and hang out? Like, come to Jack's event? And I'll be like, yeah. And then that's how it's going to start snowball. That's my dream.
That's how it happens, right?
That's my plan. We'll see.
Happens. So cool.
Talk about it like it's happening, right?
Yep, that's right. Well, thank you again for jumping on here. Everybody that tuned in tonight, thank you. We'll get this recording out there so you guys can go through and study this and just continue to get it in deep and apply.
Well, and I can say one last thing is I've been practicing this for a week, right? And I worked with a speech writer coach to help me kind of prepare it all, because you just don't want to ever do things alone. I have learned by saying it over and over and over and over again, it's gotten even deeper within me. And it's so cool. So it's not something you hear one time necessarily and you go, got it. Like, keep digging into each piece of it. And it's really powerful stuff. So, okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I have to go finish packing.
Thank you. We'll see y'all later, everybody. Have a wonderful night. God bless.